First few days then as the Manchester United head coach, and how does it feel to be sat in that chair today?
Very two different roles. Sat in this chair in front of you lot, it's very different to the role in coaching.
Of it,
yeah. Yeah, listen, it's fantastic to be here. It's a great feeling for me to be in this position. You know, I think played different roles for this club and learned to fall in love with the club for so long, and it's a massive part of my life and has been for so long. And so I'm fully aware of the position I'm in. You know, in so many different ways. So. As well as that, I'm eager to succeed. You know, we've got a big job to do. It's an important job, and it always is here to win games and to play well and to do it in a certain way. So there's one side of it is nice to be here, but the other side of it is focus, concentration, and a real drive to improve the team and improve the results.
Hi, Michael. What does success look like then? Is it Champions League qualification? Is that what success will be?
Yeah, I think improvement. You know, I think certainly improvement, and helping improve individuals. I think a big part of what I really enjoy is improving individuals, and in the end, I think if you improve the individuals, you know, we create a better team. So certainly working with the players and improving them with that, I think. And yeah, listen, results. You know, that's what it is. There's an element of performance, there's an element of improvement, and there's an element of doing what it takes to win in certain ways, in certain occasions. So. Certainly higher up the league we finish, we want to keep pushing and finishing high up as we possibly can, and we'll see where that takes us.
Has there been any stated expectations from the leadership team?
No, not in terms of it has to be this way or that way. I think it's like I said, it's we want to be near the top of the league. We want to be top of the league. I mean, that's pretty obvious to say, but we got to take some small steps towards that, and European football obviously would be a step forward, and we got to keep pushing.
Hi Michael, I was just wondering on that point of leadership, what conversations have you had with the likes of Jason and Omar, and kind of understood some of the Glazer family might have been here yesterday, also Jim, so what have those conversations been like kind of in your role? Yeah,
I've spoke to Jason an awful lot and working closely with Jason and Omar as well, and over the last few days we spoke a lot, as you'd imagine, and yeah, the owners, the ownership group were in and around it. It was nice to see them and meet them yesterday and have a small chat with them. You know, they're taking care of business in some ways. We were able to share a few things, so wished us all the very best, and it was good to see them.
Michael, I was going to mention to you when Ruben Amorim left, one of the things that he said in his last press conference was mentioning about Gary Neville and the players, and clearly Roy Keane has immediately waded in. I know there's a personal element to that as well, so it's difficult. But in general, how do you feel about knowing that all these famous Manchester United people are going to put more pressure on you, basically? They're not putting more pressure on me. I don't feel that. You know, I think it's just part of it. You know, the role, I understand it. I understand there's plenty of opinions around, and some are positive, some are not so much. But I think in some ways, for me, in terms of you saying about putting pressure, for me, it's totally irrelevant in terms of me and how I go to work and what I focus on. I kind of know already what we want to improve on and how we want to work with the players, and I've already said about improving things, you know, and there's a lot of opinions, a lot can be said. It is the way of the world, you know. I'm not going to pay too much attention to the most of that. I think it's not for me to do that. I think for me and the players and the staff, it's a focus on how we're going to succeed, really, and that's our job, that's our responsibility, that's what our focus and our minds should be at, is doing what we can for this club. But that in particular was quite personal.
Honestly, it didn't bother me. It didn't bother me.
Over the line, City in the market for a centre-back because of injuries and question marks over the long-term futures of John Stones and Nathan Ake's transfer in the summer. And just a reminder, we'll be hearing from City manager Pep Guardiola at 1:30. Right, let's get to Michael Carrick now. His first match as the new Manchester United head coach is a derby against Manchester City at Old Trafford tomorrow lunchtime, live on Sky Sports. Ahead of that game, Harry Maguire sat down with reporter Juliet Farrington this morning to discuss Carrick's first few days, bringing in former England assistant Steve Holland as his number 2, and how the players are taking responsibility for Ruben Amorim's sacking.
It's been a difficult period. I think we had a great run of fixtures, what everyone can look at on paper, and we probably expected more points. Well, not probably. We should have got more points than what we've had over the last 8 weeks or so. But we are still in a position where we can challenge for Europe. And there's still a long way to go in the season. We're just over halfway in the Premier League season, so lots of points to play for. And the lads now have got to take responsibility, galvanise together, and make sure we look to the future rather than the past.
You've shown great resilience and great character in the times that you've had that maybe haven't been as good as you wanted them to. Has the team got the characters to do this?
Yeah, I believe so, but I think that's a true statement. I think in these difficult moments, you see the big players, you see the characters come out and play with freedom and express themselves on the pitch and take responsibility and leadership. And yeah, I think that's so big in a team, because especially when you play for a team like ours, you know that there's going to be ups and downs, and it's the downs where you've got to act. And you've got to perform, you've got to stand up and be there when counted. And I feel like we've got big senior players and a lot of characters in this team that we can go and do that.
This leadership group that you're in, without revealing too much, what's it said this week?
Yeah, of course, it's like I said, it's just looking forward to the future. It's looking forward to each game. We've got big games from now to the end of the season, not many games like you've said, so we can prepare and focus on them. There's no excuses. We've got to take responsibility ourselves. We've got to take responsibility within the squad, within the leadership group. Ultimately, when a manager goes and the manager gets a lot of the stick, but it's ultimately down to the players that haven't performed well enough. So we've got to take a huge part of the responsibility of that. What's it been like on the grass this week then? In the short time that you've had to work with Michael Carrick and his new coaching team and Steve Holland as well? Yeah, really impressed. Obviously I knew Carrick from before, and I spoke really highly of him. He was a magnificent coach when he was here under Ollie. He's got great ideas, he speaks really well. Tactically he's really good. And obviously now he's had a lot of experience at Middlesbrough as a manager, and I'm sure he's going to come in here and implement his ideas. And you know, he's a legend of the club, and I'm sure the fans will get right behind him. But yeah, I must say, with him and all his coaching staff, I've been really impressed this week. Take us then to the grass, to the training pitch. What differences, if there have been any, or what are those couple of days that you've worked with him been like? Yeah, I think we hadn't had much time on the grass, but obviously we have had a couple of sessions, and yeah, I think he's trying to bring new energy, new ideas, without drilling us too much at this moment tactically. I think he just wants to bring the energy back in the building, and I think that's so important. Obviously this club is scrutinised, a lot of eyes on it all the time, analysed, and a lot of people can lose a little bit of energy within that. And Michael's played here, he's obviously performed in unbelievable teams, and he's been a magnificent player, so he knows what it's like to win here, and what you need in a team, in a group of people, in a group of staff. And I feel like he's brought a lot of energy to this week, and I think the players have bought into it. What do you mean by energy? Because energy could be so many different things. Is it confidence? Is it humour? Is it mischief? Is it what is it? Bringing maybe an element of taking the pressure off you as players and trying to let you enjoy what's going on? Yeah, of course. I think that's a big part of it. I think that one of his big things in his first meeting was, we need to enjoy it. We play for Manchester United, we're one of the biggest clubs in the world. You should all feel privileged, you should all feel honoured. You should all enjoy it. This is what you've worked towards your whole career. And I think when you enjoy it, it brings energy. But of course, obviously confidence has a part to play, and when you're down in confidence and low in confidence, your body language can go, and the fans can think you're not working hard and things like that. But it all comes together, and it's a big word that is used, and I firmly believe that we need to bring more energy to this place and make the lads go and feel comfortable on the pitch. And Steve Holland, you obviously know him well. I know a little bit about him from his early career and his early time out at Crewe Alexandra, and then he's moved on to bigger and better things and greater things as well, what with England. He's the kind of person that I think would look after the dressing room quite well. He's got a little bit old school about him. Would that be a fair reflection? Yeah, definitely. I think it's a great appointment, of course. I think obviously Michael's bit of a younger manager with upcoming fresh ideas, and then you've got Steve, who's like been around and really experienced. He was magnificent for England. I worked with him for 6-7 years at England, and he was magnificent. He drilled us all really well. We all knew what we was doing. We defended really well, and I think it's a real good appointment. He has a great record where he's been, his clubs, and obviously with England as well. And I'm sure he's going to come in here and try and implement his ideas, and the boys, I'm sure, will show full respect, because of course what he's done in his career is great.
Well, those games are coming up now, and they were always there. Manchester City and Arsenal, two of the biggest teams that you could come up against in any season. But after a reset moment, another reset moment like this, just how big are they?
Well, every game's massive really, but obviously when you're playing a Manchester derby, everything just ramps up a little bit more. After the week that you've just had as well? Yeah, definitely. I think it's a great game to play though. I think obviously we're playing the best two teams in the country at the moment. Arsenal at the top and Manchester City are second, and yeah, we know it's going to be a tough game. Two very good teams, but obviously we're looking forward to the next one, which is Manchester City, and we've prepared well. And listen, these are the games that you want to play in as a footballer. When you're a young lad and you dream of playing football, you want to play in a Manchester derby, and this is the opportunity that we have to go and turn it around and put on a big performance for our fans.
Well, let's get more. We can cross live to Manchester now. Daniel Kahn is at United's training ground for us ahead of Carrick's first news conference. Good afternoon to you, Dan. Really interesting to hear Harry Maguire's thoughts on matters at the club today, including the appointment of Michael Carrick. You will be speaking to him in around an hour's time. What can we expect?
Look, I think we'll hear from a very interesting Michael Carrick, really, because it's just been over 4 years since he had to do a press conference like this at Manchester United when he was last in interim charge, a 3-game stint. He went unbeaten as well, but look, he's also grown as a coach and as a manager. He was in charge of Middlesbrough for 2.5 years. He led them to the playoffs in the first, just outside the next 2 years as well. But look, for Manchester United, I think Harry Maguire mentioned it there, and Juliet also referenced it in a question. It's been another reset. I mean, Harry Maguire will be one of those most experienced players in the changing room. When he was signed under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's then seen a revamp under Ruben Amorim, and now we'll see another reset, first of all under Michael Carrick until the end of the season, and then whoever takes charge going forward after that from the summer. So it is incredibly interesting. But now that off the pitch, things have been sorted with the backroom staff, like Steve Holland, Jonathan Woodgate joining the club, Michael Carrick in position. Now all focus is on the football, isn't it? And with just 2 wins in the last 8 games in all competitions, United need to start getting wins to really compete for those Champions League places. I've been at Old Trafford for the last month or so talking about how they've been in touching distance of those positions, but they failed to capitalise on those type of games against the likes of Wolves, West Ham, Burnley as well, to name a few. But with Manchester City and Arsenal coming up, Joe, what you do have to say about this side is they have often performed their best in these bigger games per se. They've gotten bigger results. Harry Maguire even scored the winner at Anfield, for example. They also had big wins against Newcastle and Chelsea too. So they'll be hoping that they can refine some of that form. I think Michael Carrick will be really happy, as likes of Amad Diallo and Brian Mbeumo back as well for this derby. Much needed firepower going forward. But I think it's at the back that Carrick and his staff really have to shore up this United team, because it's not the amount of goals they're conceding, but it's the type of goals. They all quite often feel quite soft, which doesn't give them much chance in terms of getting 3 points in games at this moment in time. A lot for Carrick to talk about this afternoon. I think he'll be asked about the likes of some of the Glazer family arriving at Carrington yesterday, and some other representatives like Sir Jim Radcliffe being at Carrington yesterday, how those meetings went, but then also what his message to the team has been as well. Of course, Carrick is someone who knows this club inside out. 12 years at the club as a player. He won practically everything, and he's also experienced already as an interim, but this time much longer. And we'll bring you that all-important first news conference with Michael Carrick from just after 2:30.
Dan, for now, thank you very much.
Whether it's the hierarchy that you've worked with, the players you've signed, or the staff that you've had, what's been the most important factor in your longevity here in the
results? Results.
Anything else?
No. If you don't win, you are sacked. So we won a lot. That's why I'm still sitting here.
But
There's no other secret. No other club. But here a little bit more. They are more patient, I would say, but there is no other secret.
But then you must be grateful that you weren't winning at stages last season quite a long time, and you still got the backing from upstairs.
Yeah, that defined that club. Another club last season, I would not be here anymore. So they were patient. Maybe what we have done in the past as well, of course. So at the end, you can have 2 or 3 months bad, like it happened last season. We have 3 months not really, really good. I would say really poor. The rest was more than correct. But maybe another club will not be here. But it's maybe because the past was really good. The numbers and the titles and anything we have done is extraordinary. That's why still we are here.
And in your time here, United have never sort of managed to sustain a title challenge. It's been Liverpool or Arsenal. Would you have enjoyed a more intense rivalry against them on the pitch during the time?
With United? It's where it is. It's where it is. I cannot control what United have done. You know, since the day one, the opinion I have on Man United, but what happened, I don't know, because I'm not there. I was and I'm not.
Andy.
Hi, Pep. There's been reports today about Mark Gay and the club's interest in him. Can you say anything? Okay. Just generally, though, in his position, the defensive positions, how difficult are these injuries making things at the moment for you and the team?
Without John, without Ruben, without Josko, we are in the difficult situation for no one game, but a long, period. It's a difficult situation. But Ruben will be back soon. Josko no. John hopefully we'll see. So.
Okay, and obviously it's a big game coming up at Old Trafford. Are the guys who are going to play ready for the challenge of playing there?
I hope so.
Pep, when it comes to preparing for games, obviously you're always very methodical. With this being a different manager in Michael Carrick, you don't have a lot of reference points. I'm just interested, how do you prepare, and has it been quite different this week compared to other managers you faced recently?
Yeah, well, you have more info about what the opponent or the manager, the opponent does. You have to give more info to the players. When you don't have any info, don't give info to the players and focus on yourself. So this, maybe with a lineup, tomorrow you have an idea. You can have, some idea what Middlesbrough has done, or when Michael was in few games, was his first part as a manager in Man United, but it's tactics is about the players, and the players that you have United tomorrow is to play different was in Middlesbrough. So make analogy to say what are you going to do. I don't know.
And in that, is there a thrill for you still that there's some things you don't know? You solve so many problems before a game as a manager, but this one's maybe a little bit different. You have to react to whatever Michael Carrick might do.
Yeah, but I don't have a timeout after 10 minutes to tell them, guys, Michael want to do this, we know that, so we have time. So that's why when you don't have info, it's better, focus on yourself. For example, the game we played against Chelsea recently with a new manager, the first half was completely different than they play in the second half. So that's why it's question adapt and focus on yourself.
Pep, during Amorim's time at United, I think the main subject was the formation. Some people say the formation is important. Some people say the formation are just numbers. What is your stance of the formation as a concept?
What does it mean, the shape or the players?
The shape.
Yeah, when you play with 5 in the back, it doesn't work. You have to play with a 4. And when you play the 4, you have to play with a 5. That is analysis, and always afterwards. With 5, you can play extraordinarily well, and with 4, you can play extraordinarily well. But the argument is just, with the 5, you change the 4, and everything will be click, it will be fine. Oh my God, everyone will be manager, it will be easy. And it's not like that. So always you can do better, whatever you do, because the players looks like the best when the team works well, and it doesn't work when the team doesn't work well. So the ideas always are good. I never found a manager with the bad ideas. Before the game, you find a manager tell me, "Oh, my game plan is like that." I said, "Wow, yeah, well played." But after some time, it doesn't work.
Hi, Pep. I think I'm right in saying that you described Michael Carrick once as being one of the best holding midfielders that you've ever seen. Obviously, you played in that position. You've managed some of the greats in that position. How do the skills you had on the pitch translate into management from your experience?
Well, I would say central defender and holding midfielder. They have maybe for the position they have a more global vision that they maybe play like a winger, for example. I'm not saying the winger cannot read perfectly the game, but it's different. So always I can say, I've said many times, Michael as a player was extraordinary, extraordinary.
Obviously, we've asked you a lot about the transfer window, and I know you've said that this was not going to be an exceptional transfer window. But given the fact you've signed Antoine Semenyo, who has 2 goals in 2 games, potentially you might be able to sign a central defender. If you do that, would that make it an exceptional transfer window?
He scored 3 goals.
Yeah, 3 goals, 2 that were given. But would it make it an exceptional transfer window?
Just for 2 games. Imagine you play 2 games here. That is analysis. Make it 2 games and don't score 1 goal, play bad. It was a disaster transfer window. That would be the analysis. So I don't judge. Of course, I won't score as much goals as possible, play the good, but he came for 4, 5, 6 years, and I will be judged after these 4, 5, 6 years, not for the 2 games. So, and I have a lot of experiences of that. When a rival player and not play good in the beginning is not good. So that's why it's be patient.
11 o'clock, we're going to be focusing on Arsenal, on Chelsea, on Tottenham against West Ham. But right now, let's finish this hour with the Manchester derby, Jay. Manchester United managers actually have got a very poor record in their first Manchester derbies, OK, which we can show you right now. Can Carrick end that?
I think he can end that. I'm guessing the team he's going to play is going to be, cautious defensively. So we could see, Casemiro in there, maybe with Ugarte. And then Bruno Fernandes as a number 10. But I think it's a good opportunity for him to play his formation, get his style of football out there. I don't think there's no pressure from Man United. I really don't, because the expectation isn't there. I know it's a derby game, but there's no real expectation to beat Man City. Yeah, I know it's the bragging rights. Like Bradley said there, going to work with a smile on your face. I understand all that, but I don't think there's real expectation to beat Man City. So I think it's a great opportunity for Carrick to go in there with a win and get his feet under the table and then move on to Arsenal. I mean, if he gets them 2 wins there, that would be fantastic for him.
What about beyond Carrick? Because on the Stick to Football podcast, Gary Neville said his top 3 for permanent manager in the summer would be Carlo Ancelotti, Thomas Tuchel, or Mauricio Pochettino.
I mean,
what do you think of those 3, and would you add anyone in?
I mean, I wouldn't have Pochettino in there. I mean, Pochettino done fantastic at Southampton. He done great at Tottenham, but then look at Tottenham. Tottenham had peak Son, peak Kane, peak Ali and Eriksen as well. So, that is a very, very good side. He went to Chelsea. He started off poorly, finished well, so people were surprised that he got the sack. But then he went to manage America and he's been poor as well. So I'm not sure that Pochettino would be the right fit. Ancelotti, one of the best managers ever. So yeah, I think he can handle egos, top manager tactically. By all accounts, he's really good with the players. He's man management skills as well. And Tuchel, I'm not entirely sure about, to be honest. But out of the ones he said, I would go with Ancelotti. But that wouldn't be my choice, to be honest.
Who would be yours then?
I mean, Luis Enrique, if Man United could get him, that would be like my first choice. But then I would like to see how Carrick can do. If he can get Man United into the top 6, he's got to keep the job for me.
OK, well, we'll see if he can, and it would...
Martí, que si no está es por motivos de fuerza mayor, así que todo el ánimo para él, un abrazo grande y veremos si su Rayo le puede dar hoy una alegría.
En troncos de Sergio García junto a Verdú cuando ya se cogen esas cartas secretas. A turno de Aitor Vives, encara Aitor, arriba. Desviado el remate de Aitor Vives, la llega a tocar Paul Lechuga.
Días en los que quizá podrían haber tenido mejor resultado, los porteros han estado ahí.
Viene el balón para Manu. ¡Oh! Precisamente un portero es quien le da el primer gol a Troncos. ¡Gol! En la frontal del área decide combinar sobre la figura de Paul Lechuga. Vértice del área, probará con el regate. No, la cambia entera. ¡Qué balón de Lechuga para Alegre! ¡Oh! ¡Para adentro! ¡Gol! Pues espérate, porque Fraile, esta línea de fondo la pone Fraile, el balón para Poc, que recorta delante de Ferres. Poc, ¡qué parada abajo! De Manu Martín, lo hizo de fábula.
Ha señalado cesión.
Libre en directo, eso es.
Sí, libre en directo.
Ojo que la pone rápido en movimiento, los troncos para adentro. Sergio. ¡Gol! Vamos al penalti, presidente. Lo tirará en paralelo a la portería Perchita. Perchita ante Lechuga. Le pega Perchita. ¡Lo ha parado! Con suspense, con incertidumbre, pero acabó sacando finalmente. Pues venga, todo tuyo. Ahí está, algo bajito, capo. Verdú. Contacto con la pelota en el carril central, abre precisamente para Vives. El centro acaba siendo portería porque evitaron que el pase de la muerte pudiese llegar. Pero si eres de Barcelona y quieres vivir la emoción de la última jornada en el Cupra Arena de tanto la Kings League Infojobs como de la Queens League, puedes entrar también en el centro y el remate. Ahora te lo cuento porque es un golazo. ¡Gol! Frankie Purtí, irá Frankie para darle la vuelta al Rayo. Frankie lo ha parado. Lo ha parado Manu Martín. En la porfía con Ian, en todo caso no se aplica nada y viene el ataque ahora de los troncos. ¡Lechuga! Román Alegre está bien, gol doble.
Gol doble para Rayo.
Sí. El capitán de los troncos combina con Vives. Lechuga. Era muy difícil porque le botó justo en el momento. Un penalti shootout. Tanto sonoras como lumínicas del Cupra Arena. Sorroche para el tercero. Lechuga. Decide combinar sobre Paul Román. Aparece Román Alegre que filtra el envío. El remate para adentro. ¡Gol de oro! ¡Cántalo! ¡Gol! ¡Gol! Del Rayo de Barcelona. Llegar y besar el santo Joel Paredes.
Frankie Purtí, Prime MVP, por fin ha llegado esa victoria tan esperada para el Rayo.
Sí, ha costado mucho. La verdad que aquí ganar cuesta muchísimo y hay que valorarlo mucho. Y como ha dicho el míster, al final hoy era un partido amistoso que encarábamos como preparación para el partido donde nos jugamos la vida, que es el partido de play-out del Mundial. Y esperemos que esto nos sirva para encarar una buena dinámica y encarar ese partido de la mejor manera posible.
Hoy no ha podido estar el Presi, no sé si nos estará viendo desde casa y no sé si le quieres decir algo.
Yo creo que sí nos estará viendo. Le mando un fuerte abrazo. Esta semana ha sido una semana difícil para él y espero que este le anime, tanto la victoria del femenino como la nuestra este fin de semana. Espero que le anime y que le ayude a pasar la semana de la mejor manera posible y decirle que le queremos mucho y que vamos a dar la vida para que el Rayo esté en el Mundial.
Ojalá que así sea. Enhorabuena. Gracias.